Hey everyone, how's it going? We got a cool video coming your way today. We are gonna start a new build. We're starting a build on a 2024 RZR XP 1000 Ultimate Edition. Just got a huge shipment from Super ATV to get things going. We got the RZR 200 there. We also started that build recently. First mod with some wheels and tires. Obviously we've got the Battle Wagon. This guy's been around for a while. Most of you guys that are familiar with the channel will also be very familiar with that machine. Look at that. We got a whole skid of parts from Super ATV. Just arrived today, right in time for the snow. Because we're gonna get this thing into winter mode. We're gonna put a windshield on it, front and rear. We're gonna do some A-arms in the front, some upgraded heavy duty Keller ball joints. We're gonna do radius rods in the rear and a few other goodies to get this thing started. For now, I'm gonna get this thing outside and get it nice and clean so that we can start the build on a fresh unit. This machine is pretty much brand new. But with that being said, it's already got a bent A-arm. Hasn't really gotten a beat down yet. So stay tuned. We'll get this thing cleaned up, then we'll unpack all those parts, see what we got. So it's gonna be awesome. You can watch this thing transform. And then the fun is gonna be when we go out and we test it. We got a winter ride coming up. I gotta get this thing ready for a thrashing. And then we can really shake it down and see how well this new RZR XP 1000 performs in comparison to the older models. Huge skid of goodies here. Super ATV wasn't messing around. Super excited to dig into this. Aside from a bunch of goodies for the RZR XP 1000 there, we've also got a few goodies for the next steps of the build on the 2023 RZR 200 we got over here, my daughter's unit. So we got some bumpers for it and some upgraded skid plates, stuff like that. But we'll show you that in another video. Let's dig into this and see what we got. We are in the shop and we're getting ready to dig into this brand new 2024 RZR XP 1000 Ultimate Edition. It's bone stock right now as it came from the factory in the Ultimate trim. We got a ton of Super ATV goodies that just got here today to install on it. Look at all those boxes. So we're gonna install all these goodies and we're also going to install a GGB exhaust system in addition to these traction Glacius tires and these traction rims. So those will be replacing the stock ones. This traction Glacius tire, if you look at it, it's got holes in it. This is a studdable winter tire. Yes, it is a winter compound for a UTV. It's a very soft rubber compound designed strictly for cold weather. So we're gonna try it out at Minden Off-Road Park when we do the shakedown ride on this thing, and we're gonna see how that winter tire performs on cold, snowy rock. It'll be a really good test for it. We will not be studding this set of tires. A lot of people that'll buy this tire will want to stud it, and it is set up for automotive studs, but we'll go into more detail on those tires in another video. But for now, take a look at this thing. It is freaking spotless. That is clean and pristine, almost. So this machine does have, I don't even know, what's the mileage on this thing right now? It's been out on a few mild rides. It has not been thrashed yet. It hasn't had a real rough ride yet. Yeah. We know it's a Polaris. Yes, I know. Warning, warning, warning. So this thing's only got 134 kilometers on it. That's under 100 miles. It's about 90 miles or so, give or take a few. This thing's pretty much brand spanking new, just kind of broken in, had a few shakedown rides, but that was enough time to bend one of these factory A-arms. The A-arms on these RZRs are notoriously underbuilt, and they always have been on these XP 1000s. Luckily, we have a remedy for that. We got some heavy duty A-arms, we've got radius rods, we've got a front glass windshield and a rear windshield. We've got a bunch of other goodies, so stay tuned. We're gonna be slapping all those on there and transforming this thing. It's gonna be awesome. All the upgrades that we're doing in stage 1 here do not really alter the performance of the machine as you would see it come from the factory. We're not touching the engine tuning or the clutching yet. That's why I went with a stock 30-inch tire for those Glacius tires. We're gonna run the stock tire size for the first couple rides to give ourselves a really good baseline on this unit. You know that when we do these builds, I like to get a good baseline before we start upgrading. So obviously into the future in stage 2, what we'll probably do is we'll do an ECU tune. We will do some clutching, and that'll really wake this machine up, and we'll probably end up throwing some bigger tires on it, like a 32 or something like that. You guys know I love my tires, and I love trying new tires. Nothing impacts the performance of a machine quite as much as the tire choice. You gotta choose tires specific to the type of terrain you're riding because there really is no one size fits all. There are certain tires that do well in most terrains, but if you want to pick a tire that does excellent in one terrain, it will always be a trade-off in other conditions. A tire that might work good in the slop isn't necessarily going to be a good rock crawling tire. So you have to select the tire choice and the tire size based on what you want to do with your machine. A lot of these other upgrades we're doing, like the windshields and the suspension components, those will strengthen and increase the reliability and the drivability of this machine pretty much regardless of the terrain you're riding in. So that's why we're doing these first. We're not going to do an in-depth step-by-step install on all of these parts. If you need a step-by-step video, then Super ATV does an excellent job posting videos on pretty much every part they sell. So you can go on their website or their YouTube channel and you can find the video on there that'll guide you through the installation process of whatever part you have on whatever machine you ride, so that you can follow along and get them installed on your own, or at least have an idea of what goes into the installation so that you can decide whether it's a job you can tackle or whether it's something you need to take to the shop. I'm gonna time lapse a bunch of this stuff so you guys can see it come together real quick in front of your eyes instead of sitting there for hours like I have to. Make sure you leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Do you like the new body style? Do you like the changes they've made? Are you thinking about getting one of these, or do you already have one? If so, what mods have you done that you enjoy and you think are important? And maybe let us know what mods you think we should do or consider into the future to make this machine even better and more capable. Here you see me just finishing up the installation on the front heavy-duty, forward-facing control arms from Super ATVs with the Keller ball joints installed, and you guys probably saw those shots of the stock ball joint compared to the aftermarket Keller ball joint. It is just a night and day difference, and this is one of those products that you really do get what you pay for. The Keller ball joints are a US-made product with a lifetime warranty, fully serviceable. They're an amazing upgrade from factory. I also installed those aluminum firewall guards from Super ATV, which was a really easy install, and they look really cool on there and add a little bit of protection in case you hit something. It's to prevent a log from coming through your firewall and basically impaling you. Now we've moved around back and we're going to get those stock rear radius rods off. The lower rear radius rods especially are incredibly underbuilt on these machines as well, and if you do any sort of rock crawling or technical trail riding where you're going over logs and obstacles like that, then it's pretty much guaranteed you are going to bend one. So you might as well just skip that step and upgrade these right away if it's in the budget. Something to keep in mind when you're considering upgrading these is if you damage or break a front A-arm, a stock one, because it's underbuilt, then it usually causes quite a bit of collateral damage as well, which can be more costly than just replacing the A-arms itself, because it can take an axle and a tie rod and other stuff with it, including a brake line or something like that, depending on how it breaks and how severe it is. The same goes for the rear. You damage a rear radius rod pretty badly, it can affect the drivability of your vehicle, so it's better to have these strong components on there because they hold the rest of the machine together better. On top of all that, they also look badass. Now we're going to pull the roof off so that we can install the front and rear windshields. This is all really easy. These new machines are really well set up for accessories like this. Watch that windshield just slide in there. All the seals line up really well. The nice two-piece rear windshield from Super ATV is also great. It seals up really good around the top and side of the cage as well as the bottom of the bed. You can see it all here. It is a little finicky to get this all together, but as long as you leave the hardware all loose before you tighten it up, it all falls into place and looks really good once it's on there. I was very happy with the fit and finish of both the front windshield and the rear windshield. It all went together very well. They're doing a lot better from the factory, thinking ahead about the fact that a lot of people are going to want to enclose or partially enclose these machines, which is why they're doing things like flat sections on the cages or stepped sections for the seals. The reason I went with aftermarket for the front windshield and the rear is simply due to cost. The front windshield from Polaris is beautiful, it's awesome. It comes with a power wiper if you want and a squirt nozzle, but it's about $2,000 Canadian, and that's just ludicrous. You can get a similar setup here from Super ATV minus the power windshield for about half that cost. What I found really shocking though was there's not even a rear windshield listed on the Polaris website for this machine yet. Here you see me test fitting one of the Glacius tires and wheels, and we get the rest of them on there just to see and make sure everything fits okay. Now I'm going to pull them back off so that we can address a few more components, and we will run the factory wheels for now. So once we pull out of here, you'll see that the machine will be on its factory wheels and tires. What I didn't realize right away, and you should keep in mind, is that even though Polaris went to a square tire setup on these machines, 30 by 10 by 14 at all four corners, They didn't make it easy on us. They gave us a wider wheel in the rear than the front still, so you can't just go around and rotate these. Here you see me pulling the fascia off, and I'll be removing the front bumper so that I can color code it red to match the rest of the machine. From the factory, this trim package was orange, gunmetal, and black. I'm peeling all the decals off this because I want to color change it. I don't want the orange. I'm building this machine for my friend Chris from Power Sports Link Financing, and their branding is red, white, and black. So I figured we might as well go with the red and black, kind of like the Battle Wagon. It'll make the machines look really cool side by side, and it'll also flow better with my friend Chris's business branding. If you're wondering why I didn't go with orange control arms and radius rods, it's because Super ATV doesn't offer those yet. This is a new machine, a new body style, so parts are just starting to roll out from the aftermarket, and Super ATV is actually there really quick in comparison to a lot of other brands. You'll see I'll be installing a Polaris OEM winch. The reason behind that is even though I got a 6,000 pound Black Ops winch from Super ATV, they did not have winch mounts available to ship yet at the time I needed them. They're just starting to ship now, and it's mid-February, I believe, which is still quite quick, and they're one of the first companies in the aftermarket, actually the first company to offer a winch mount for this model, because I looked at pretty much every other brand trying to find a solution, but I needed one real quick, so I just had to do what I had to do. That did, however, force me to go out and buy an OEM Polaris winch at a crazy amount of money. It was really, really expensive, but it's a really nice winch. It's got a nice synthetic line. All the wiring harnesses and everything are plug and play. Nice switch. So I do have to say the fit and finish of the winch is very nice. One of the worst parts of this job was definitely peeling these decals. Polaris has improved the decal quality. If you can think back to the days gone by, you'd get a new razor, you'd go to pressure wash it your first time, you'd hit the decal with a pressure washer, and it would just fly off like an airplane in one piece. Well, that's not happening now. Trying to get these off is a nightmare, so I suggest to you, if you are doing it, make sure you try and keep them in one piece. Don't let them rip, and take your time, and then use a citrus-based adhesive remover to wipe down and wash down that door to get all the residue off there. It's not a difficult job, although it is a little bit time-consuming and frustrating. If you're wondering why I'm peeling the beautiful decals off this beautiful new machine, it's because I'm going to color code the front of the machine gloss black to match the rest of the unit. We will be wrapping this machine in a full custom vinyl wrap from Barrett Hepburn, but right now he's still working on finalizing the templates for that, so I figured in the meantime we can get a bit of a custom look by making it all black and stealthy, because you can't get that color package from the factory right now. They don't sell it in a straight black. So I just thought it would be cool in between, and once we get the wrap we can peel it all off and re-wrap it all. That's why I'll just be using a regular automotive grade 3M vinyl to do the front end. Here you see me installing the 4,500 pound winch, which was a breeze. I gotta say, this new winch mount location and the way they've strengthened the bulkhead in the front of the machine is really smart. It makes installing the winch really easy in a really accessible spot. The one thing I don't like is that winch becomes your bumper, and it also becomes whatever you hit if you slide off a big rock or ledge. Or if you're riding in the winter, it just turns to one big block of ice. So I would say those are the downsides, but the usability, the location, and the ease of install and look does look fantastic with this new design. I would say overall it is an improvement. It's better than trying to get that winch inside the frame like they used to mount on these razors. Here you see me wiping down the front hood section here, making sure everything's super clean before I apply my vinyl. If you have never done a vinyl wrap, then I would say this is more of a moderate job. It's a 3M automotive grade vinyl. It's a high-end product. And it does a really good job matching up to the factory paint color on the doors and the back of the machine, so I'm very satisfied with how it turned out. I do have some experience wrapping cars and side-by-sides in both automotive and off-road wraps, so this did help me out here because there was a few tricky spots on this application, but I'd say I did a good solid 8 out of 10 job. There was a couple spots where I got a ripple or two, but I really don't care because this wrap is going to get thrashed on its first ride, and it'll all be scratched up and dinged up in no time anyways. And since we will be re-wrapping it down the line, I wasn't going for kind of a long-term thing here. I just wanted to improve it and kind of spice it up for the time being, and as you guys know, this ain't no trailer queen. If you do plan on wrapping any portion of your machine, I would suggest it. It's great. It's a really good way to color swap without painting. Just please go out, spend extra money, and get a quality vinyl product, something like a 3M or another trusted wrap brand, because you do get what you pay for in these, and if you buy a cheap wrap, you'll just end up doing a bad job and probably wasting product and being frustrated at the end of it. Once stage 1 is done and we move on to stage 2, we will be installing some more accessories like some tree kickers or Nerf bars, whatever you want to call them. I'm also considering getting some different bumpers for this, as well as a rear cargo or storage rack like I had on the RZR Turbo. Razorback Off-Road makes a really cool storage rack for the back of these, so I've been contemplating potentially getting one of those because I like the ability to carry more gear, especially when we're making the videos. I need to carry a lot of camera gear and batteries and stuff like that, so it really makes my life a lot easier. Plus, I think they look really cool. In the next stages, we'll also be installing a bunch of lighting upgrades and some other cool accessories that will help the usability and drivability of this machine. One more thing to note in regards to wrap installations is make sure that the temperature in your shop is close to what they recommend for the application, because it does make a big difference in how easy this stuff is to work with. Final step here is putting some decals on. With that being said, huge shout out to all of our channel supporters and sponsors, and most of all, you guys, the viewers.
Look at that result. This wrap went down great. It's so shiny. It conforms and flexes so well around all these little ridges, and yeah, it looks really good. It's not perfect everywhere, but that's more my fault than anything else, but I'd say it went really well. Matches up with the stock paint quite well. From a distance with a little bit of mud and dirt, it'll look perfect and we'll be able to tell. We'll see how it lasts off-road. So you can see here, I still got a piece of that gray gunmetal. You can really see the difference in color now next to the gloss black. Yeah, it looks sweet. I mean, you're usually looking at one of these things from quite a distance away, and it's dirty and it's moving, so that looks perfect. We are done, guys. Stage 1 of the 2024 RZR XP 1K build is complete. Look at that. I think it turned out pretty good. Looking sharp. Got some decals on the doors there. Big shout out to all our supporters. Super ATV was a huge help in the first stage of this build. Most of the components on this machine right now are from Super ATV. And a huge shout out to my friend Chris at Power Sports Link Financing. This is his machine. He's letting me use it and build it up. In exchange for using it, I'm building it up for him. And we get a chance to enjoy this new machine. So thanks, Chris. Thanks for hooking us up with this thing and letting everyone see what it's capable of. Or we will be letting everyone see what it's capable of, because I'm going to be loading this thing up on the trailer, and tomorrow bright and early I'm heading for Minden Off-Road Park, and we're going to give this thing its first real trail ride, its first real shakedown. It's not quite where it should be yet, but it should be just fine for Minden Off-Road Park. We're going to run the stock 30-inch tires on the non-beadlock wheels, 30 by 10 by 14s all around. And the only things I'm really kind of concerned about that I'd like to do soon is I'd like to do some Nerf bars, some tree kickers or rock sliders down at the bottom there, and I'd love to upgrade the skid plates. I'd like to put an upgraded heavy-duty skid plate on here. The skid plates that are coming on these machines in this model era, 24 plus, the skid plates do definitely seem a lot better. They do cover the floorboards. It's quite thin, it's like a 1/4 inch or something like that, but it's still a significant improvement over what was coming on these machines in the previous chassis. So definitely a step up there, but still lots of room for improvement in comparison to like a heavy duty UHMW type plastic skid you can get. So I'm just gonna slap this pack out in there. It actually fits in really good. You pretty much can just get away with like throwing 2 bungee cords on it and just hold it from bouncing around. I'll show you what I'm doing, but you can slap this pack out really securely and visually pretty good in the back of these new machines without any issue. So that's really actually pretty cool, because it's such a handy way to pack and move stuff. And luckily, since our machine's red and black again, this always happens. My car is pretty much red and black. The RZR we're working on is red and black. The Battle Wagon is red and black. Just kind of a theme. I hope you guys enjoyed the first stage of the build and the evolution. There's still a lot coming for this machine, so stay tuned. Let me know if you like it. Leave some comments below on what you think we should upgrade on it next. What you like, what you don't like, whether you like the new chassis, whether you don't. Just leave your feedback and your thoughts. They help improve future video content. I always like the constructive feedback. It helps me make the videos better for you guys to enjoy. Anyways, ride safe out there, guys, and we'll see you in the next video. I shouldn't have to tell you this, but if you haven't subscribed yet, please smash that subscribe button. It really does help out. You can also follow us on Facebook and on Instagram.
And if you'd like some cool Team AJP swag, we're gonna have some sweet new merch hitting the Shopify store real soon, so stay tuned for that. We're just kind of in the final stages of designing some really cool new sticker and shirt designs. So I'm really hoping you guys like those when we finally release them. So if you'd like to help support the channel in another way, the Shopify store is a great way to do that. Anyways, I'm done now. See you in the next one.